Welcome everyone, I'm Josh Cooper. Today we're going to talk about one of the biggest transitions people go through as they approach retirement, and that is understanding Medicare. So one thing that's important is that you find a broker or an agency that can offer an educational approach and explain the differences and the parts of Medicare. Our agency is Guided Senior Solutions, and that's where we position ourselves as a guide for you. Now, when should somebody start preparing before turning 65? Really, anywhere between the 3 and 6 month window is a great time to really book an appointment with a Medicare broker or an advisor, with us specifically, to make sure that you're getting the right information and that you're on track with decisions, whether it's the right decision to go to Medicare, delay Part B, and so forth. Because if you're simply waiting until the week before, everything has a timeline and everything takes a process. So you want to make sure you give yourself enough time to do the research, vet the people you're working with, and be able to dig into different plans in your specific area. Now, Medicare has several parts, and that's a part that can be confusing, a little intimidating for people. So we're going to break down original Medicare as well as what we recommend for a client, so that whenever they're approaching Medicare, it can be a seamless process and they can have a trusted partner in that. So let's talk about the different parts of Medicare. All right. So we have original Medicare. And original Medicare comes with two distinct parts. You have a Part A and a Part B, okay? Now, we hear Part A, Part B, Part C, Plan N, Plan G, Plan F. You hear all these different letters and the whole alphabet can be confusing. But in reality, Medicare can be broken down even more simple with Part A and Part B of original Medicare. All right, so original Medicare has two parts, Part A and Part B. Part A is the hospital coverage, hospice. It's typically premium free, okay? So Part A is essentially what everybody's going to get when they turn 65. Whether they're on group insurance or not, it doesn't cost anything. So a lot of people will enroll in it because it just sits there as a secondary insurance with no premium, okay? Part B is the part that we want to focus on, because this is what's going to impact your pockets, right? And if it impacts your pockets, it's something you're going to want to pay attention to. So Medicare Part A and Part B. Part B is your medical. That's like paying for your doctor's visits and so forth. So you have Part A and Part B. Part A, we're going to say, has a $0 premium, all right, for most people when they turn 65. Part B has a standard premium of $202.90, okay? Now, the Part B premium is set by the government, by CMS, so that premium changes from year to year. So the Part B premium for 2026 is $202.90. That's the standard premium, okay? So everybody in America who's on Medicare Part A and Part B is going to pay $202.90, okay? Now, there's a group of people that will pay more based on their income, and there's some people who get this paid for by the state also based on their income if they're really low income seniors, okay? So we've got Part A and Part B, the two primary parts of original Medicare. Now, original Medicare is going to be for everybody who is 65 years or older, okay? The only way to get on Medicare before age 65 is really going to be if you have a disability for 2 consecutive years, okay? So original Medicare, Part A and Part B, is great insurance, but it's not what you want to stop with, okay? And the reason being is Medicare covers 80% of all your co-insurance, but if you know anything with simple math, 80% out of 100% leaves a gap of 20%, okay? So we want to make sure you have 100% coverage, which can provide peace of mind when you're moving on to Medicare, okay? So how do we accomplish that? If original Medicare only covers 80%, how can we make sure that the 20% exposure doesn't completely clean out our retirement savings or put us in a bunch of debt, make us sell our house or our car if we have major medical expenses? And let's be honest, as we get older, our health does not tend to get better. We tend to have more health problems, okay? So we understand original Medicare is not a great vehicle. By itself, we have a missing piece. We don't want to be exposed with a 20% coinsurance. If you've ever had a medical bill, they can get really expensive, okay? So it's not uncommon for a medical bill to exceed $100,000 if somebody has a heart attack or stroke or some large health issues. Well, 20% of a $100,000 bill is $20,000 of bills you're gonna have to pay if you're just on original Medicare. That's scary. Okay, now we're scared. Well, let's not be scared. Let's figure out a way to make this simple and give us a peace of mind and a solution to this problem we now have. So we want to fix this 20% problem so that we can end up with 100% of coverage. And how can we do that? Well, with Medicare, we really have two options, okay? So this is every senior we meet with, we really have two recommendations or two pathways you can be on. So I always make it really simple. I picture a person, right? So bear with me, it's not the best drawing, right? But we picture a person and we're standing at kind of a fork in the road, okay? Because we have two options, right? So we have option number one, and we have option number two, okay? Now, both of these options, this person right here, remember, they're on Part A and Part B. So they're on Medicare. And for those people watching, to be on Medicare, you gotta be 65. So he's 65 years old, he's on Medicare Part A and Part B, and now he's got this 20% exposure he wants to cover. How can we do that? Well, there are two options we're gonna talk about. So the two options we have is I'm gonna put Medicare Supplement. I'm gonna say Med Sup. Let's do this. Instead of and, let's say or, because you can't have both. Or Medicare Advantage. Now, most of the stuff you see, whether it's online, on Facebook, or really anywhere you're getting your information from, there's a big debate about Medicare Supplement versus Medicare Advantage. There's a lot of fear mongering that goes on. There's a lot of condemning. This is terrible, this is great, this is expensive, this is cheap. And so what we want to do is we want to clarify the difference and give you some quick tips on what might be the right fit for you, okay? So we have two options, Medicare Supplement or Medicare Advantage. Or is important. Or is important because you can't have both. You've got to be on one or the other pathway. So we have our person right here, Mr. 65. He's on original Medicare, A and B. He has this decision to pick option one or option two. This is where a lot of people are kind of paralyzed by not knowing which option they should pick, and they're scared because they heard if they make the wrong decision that their life is ruined, okay? Well, we're here to help you with that decision process and just be an advocate for you to assist along the way. So these options, remember, the only thing we don't want to do is we don't want to stay on original Medicare only because it only covers 80%. So we want to make sure we have something to pick up or to protect us with a stop loss. Okay, so option one, we're going to call option one our Medicare, so we're going to call it our Med Sup. Okay, so this is the Medicare Supplement road. Okay, both options can be good. However, when you're on one road, you can't be on the other one, right? You get to pick a road, you can't straddle it, right? You got to pick one. So on the option of Medicare Supplement, there are really two plan types that we recommend and we really like. And these plans you've probably heard of is Plan N and Plan G. Okay, both are really good options. So with the Medicare Supplement option, you have Plan N and you've got Plan G. A Medicare Supplement is going to cover the 20% that original Medicare does not cover. So the supplement it does just like it says. It supplements original Medicare and gives you the additional 20% of coverage, okay? So Medicare Supplement, you stay on original Medicare, You have no network restrictions, no prior authorizations, and you're not gonna have any kind of max out of pocket, and you're not really gonna have any copays. So the easiest way to think about it is a Medicare supplement has a premium, so it's your more expensive option. You pay monthly, but you're not gonna pay when you go to the doctor, okay? Now the details of it, we can go into and we will on another video. A Medicare supplement, you're typically only gonna pay your Part B deductible, which is $283 for the whole year. Now, Medicare supplement, think of it like your Cadillac version of healthcare, okay? Cadillacs are really nice to drive, but they're expensive. They're not for everybody, right? It's nice to have massaging, cooled seats, but affordability matters when you're talking to a senior. So if everyone could afford it, I would recommend a Medicare supplement is a better quality of care, and I would say that all day long. So it's more expensive, but also more comprehensive. Okay, so Medicare supplement, you stay on original Medicare, but you get the 20% covered, okay? Now, when you turn 65, what's really important is that you can get any Medicare supplement plan you want without any underwriting. After that, you have to go through underwriting if you want to qualify for a plan. Okay, so option one is a Medicare supplement, sometimes called a Medigap plan. Option number two is, we're going to label these over here, option one. Option two is an Advantage plan, okay? Now, the easiest way to describe an Advantage plan is it's gonna operate very similar to probably how your health insurance has operated your entire life. You're gonna have a carrier that's gonna represent you, whether it's Humana, Aetna, United Healthcare, Anthem, Blue Cross, Cigna, HealthSpring, one of those carriers, and you're gonna have to go in their network. You're gonna have an HMO, a PPO, or a private fee-for-service plan. In reality, a Medicare Advantage plan offers you protection that original Medicare doesn't, because a Medicare Advantage plan has a max out of pocket, okay? And if you're familiar with health insurance at all, a max out of pocket means that's the maximum amount of money you could pay in a calendar year if you had some serious health problems, okay? So, Medicare Advantage plan, we're gonna call this an MAPD, stands for Medicare Advantage with drug coverage. Medicare Advantage plan is a secondary road. Well, if a Medicare supplement gives me 100% coverage with no network, why would I ever pick an Advantage plan? Most Advantage plans in most zip codes have a $0 premium. Depending on your income, that can be really attractive. If you're healthy, if you're looking for additional benefits with dental or vision, an Advantage plan can be a good fit. But what's important to note, if you take nothing else away, take this. When you turn 65, you get to pick your option. After being 65, you can always go from a supplement to an Advantage plan during open enrollment. You cannot always go from an Advantage plan back to a supplement, okay? So that means when you're turning 65, the decision becomes more important that you make an educated decision and that you speak to a broker so you can understand your risk tolerance, your preference, and what fits within your budget. All right, let's talk about what are some common mistakes people make when they're choosing coverage, okay? The primary common mistake that we see with people is not getting advice from, or let me just put it like this, biggest mistake. You may know what this is. This is called the peanut gallery, okay? So the biggest mistake people make when they're choosing coverage is not getting advice from a professional, but getting advice from their friends at church, their neighbor, the person they went to Waffle House with. They're taking advice from people who are not an expert in the field of insurance. You need to get advice from a licensed broker who's educated, who has experience, who has a reputation, often helping, talk to a referral. Taking advice from somebody who doesn't understand products and the changes that happen year over year can result in penalties, can result in making a decision that does misdirect your future health insurance, okay? Another common mistake. A common mistake we see people make is going to be picking up Part B. So sometimes we meet with people who, number one, they pick up Part A, and they pick up Part B, and they keep group insurance, okay? If your company has more than 20 employees, you either need to move to Medicare or stay on group insurance. Doing both and putting Medicare in the back seat does not benefit you. Medicare becomes secondary, which means you're paying all this money for group insurance and you're paying another $202 for Part B. So one common mistake is when you don't know and people just want to make sure they're not getting a penalty is they just pick up everything and they're overpaying when they could be saving money if they have credible coverage. Well, what's another mistake? Another common mistake people make is waiting to the last minute to enroll or enrolling late, all right? Recently had a client that outside of their enrollment window, they got forced off of group insurance because their spouse retired and they were forced to go onto Medicare, but they did it outside of their open enrollment window. So let's talk about these enrollment windows, okay? So when you turn 65, here we are, 65-year-old. Let's keep our stick figure drawing, all right? There you go, happy 65-year-old. Oh, wait, let's fix that. We've got, should we do like a scared 65-year-old? There we go. So we got a scared 65-year-old, okay, unsure, confused, little graphic right here with a question mark. Okay, so we got a 65-year-old unsure of what to do, and so they don't do anything. So paralysis by analysis. They fail to make a decision because they don't know who they can trust, okay? So when you turn 65, you have 1, 2, 3 months before, and then you also have 3 months after. So 65 birthday, and then you have 65 month 1, month 2, month 3. So you really have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months of what's considered your initial election period, okay? Outside of that window, you cannot enroll into Medicare unless you wait until like January for the general election period. Well, if you miss this window or anything in between, you can be stuck without Part B and you start incurring a lifetime penalty, okay? So why is it important to start the enrollment process 3 months before? Well, once you know if you're gonna go on group insurance or Medicare, if you start early, it allows Social Security time to process everything. If you know anything about the government, it's not always fast and efficient. So I would say one of the biggest common mistakes is waiting or being paralyzed with too much information and not having a guide to walk them through that's trusted. So next I want to talk about how somebody's income and plans for retirement can really impact their Medicare decision, okay? Every time we talk to a client, we take them through a client needs assessment to make sure we understand their situation and be able to make a recommendation specific for and tailored to their needs. We never make a generic recommendation for every single client because every client has a different health history, every client has a different risk tolerance, and every client has different goals for their retirement. Some people are traveling more. Some people are more, a wide variety of doctors they need to see and they don't fit in anybody's network. Some people have upcoming surgeries they already know that's gonna have to impact their life. So retirement plans on whether you're gonna move, whether you're going to draw from retirement, like IRAs and so forth, can impact whether it's time to go onto Medicare, whether you need to keep working, as well as what type of plan you want. If you're going to travel a lot, a Medicare supplement can be a little more friendly to that because you don't have any networks and it operates the same. So understanding retirement plans and understanding what your goals are when you stop working impacts what type of supplement or advantage plan you should really consider. So one thing that's specific about our team at Guided Senior Solutions is we go through the similar process with every single client. We're gonna ask questions about your health, your history, your goals, your retirement plans, your doctors, and your medications to get a full picture of every single client that we serve. By doing this, we're able to make a real recommendation that's tailored to your needs, understanding what your goals are. This way we can explain both options, answer all of your questions, and make sure that your Medicare process fits entirely with what you're trying to do. Booking an appointment with us or going through our webinar when you're turning 65 answers a ton of questions, and having the individual appointment with a licensed advisor ensures you're not going to get information from the peanut gallery or people who got misinformation from somewhere else. Medicare does not have to be confusing. The most important thing is getting educated, understanding your options, and making a decision based off your specific situation. Our goal is helping people feel confident, having peace of mind about their coverage and their future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.